All right, before we start this week's episode, we just wanted to quickly share something that's been pretty enormous over in our bottom half of the world over the last 24 and a half or so hours. What happened in Christchurch, we just wanted to, on part of me, Matt, and Sloth, who will be here later, he assures us, we wanted to offer the people of New Zealand and the Muslim community, both there and abroad, our deepest condolences for something absolutely abhorrent, terrorism in its purest form. You know, like to see a grown man take military-grade weaponry into a place of worship is fucking baffling, especially given that this fuckwit's one of our countrymen. So we felt we couldn't let the opportunity slip to say something. So if you're out there and you see people, you know, sharing this shit around, there's a video of it online. Please do everything you can to report it. Don't share it or tweet it or, you know, attack it. Just report it and move on. Maybe privately share it with people to get it taken down. But yeah, we just wanted to quickly jump in and say our little bit and, you know, send as much love as we possibly can to New Zealand, a country that our country has a great relationship with and, you know, a lot of history with and a lot of love for.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
All right, let's.
Look, I don't have much more to add there than pretty much what you said, man. With, you know, this is exactly, you know, what he wants is to people to be talking about it, and he wants to stay in court and all this kind of stuff. And one of the reasons why we're not talking about it, but we also see a lot of value in providing entertainment for people in times of stress and anxiety and. You know, we can put on a good show today. And if you're feeling stressed and you're feeling, you know, if you're in New Zealand, hopefully we can cheer you up with some, well, what Australians should be doing well, which is being dickheads.
Being dickheads.
Being dickheads.
All right. Well, on that note, let's get into it. But all the love in the world to the people in the other country known as Down Under, right? New Zealand. Let's go.
Yeah.
Coming to you live from the largest British prison in the known universe. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to the 117th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I, as always, am Log Power Slave, and I'm joined by only Mylan fucking Games. What is going on? It's all right.
you know what we're going to struggle with this podcast is reading the notes, reading the show notes. That is Sloth's job always.
Not even reading the show notes, just reading in general. General reading. The big man assures us that he will be here at some stage, so that's fine. But you know, we wanted to make sure we got live at a time that we could, you know, reach our usual audience, given everything that's happened, and we can try and, you know, do what we do, bounce off each other, swear at each other, and carry on so that we can, you know, get on with life.
Yep.
So, how have you been?
How's your week?
No one ever asked me how my week is.
Yeah, let's start with you. Yeah,
it feels very wrong. I have been a big week at work, honestly, but beyond that, I've been taking my laptop to work and editing videos on my lunch break. I feel like I've hit my final form. And dude, literally I don't know every idiot walks past me. What are you doing, mate? Like, just fuck off.
Just say like, comment, subscribe when they ask him, what are you doing? Like, comment, subscribe, mate. Give out a little business card. You want me to get Gambit to put you some business cards together?
Yeah, get Gambit to put me some. I'll just keep them in my top pocket and just fucking flick them at people. If they even look like they're going to... Oh, they come around the corner into my office. So what do you... Fuck off.
Fucking ninja star them.
Get straight in the eyes.
So have we got a hint about what you're working on, or are you going to keep it under wraps until...
the only hint, and I've said this a couple of times on Twitter, and it's a bona fide fact, is that I cannot sing like David Coverdale, who is the singer from Whitesnake. So, I mean, you could probably pin it down to 2 songs from that, and it's really fucking obvious.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I know you don't, but
I have no musical
anyone with
whatsoever.
any rock music history knowledge will know probably figured it out already. Etsy actually, to his credit, Etsy often sends me song suggestions, right? Of like, you could take the piss out of this. He sent me the exact song that I've recorded with suggestions this morning. And I'm like, I've finished it. I've got it uploaded on a Google Drive because I send it to Nick, who tells me how shit my mixes are and how to fix them because he's a fucking legend. So I had this thing already up on a drive. He sent me a message, and in like 1 minute, I sent him back a completed version of a song basically around what he was doing. And I was like, oh, this is how quick I can do things these days. But
very nice.
That's it. That's all I've been doing. I've been enjoying streaming a bit, and got probably 2/3 of the way through the Thorn quest the other night. So
Thorn? Yeah,
looking forward to jumping into the rest of that. And
I think I'm about 2/3 as well. Yeah, actually, I'm probably a little bit under. Actually, not 2/3. I'm about 1/3. I'm going to do 30%.
I'm going to do the what's the Esky protocols now. So I'm probably
okay. Sorry, I was talking about the Crucible step.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm 1/3 of the way through the Crucible step.
Oh, good stuff. You'll do that. You'll get that pretty easy. You're not bad.
Look, I did 20% in a short part of the stream. So yeah.
Hang on. What's going on here? Have we got Sloth?
Yeah, Sloth joined.
Yeah, you fucked it. Etsy's dropped. Look at this. Yes. Now look, just to give Ets a shout out at a moment's notice because Sloth couldn't make it. We drag Ets in and say, can you just hold a place in the call so that all the boxes line up and we can turn one of them off? And he does it. What a bloke. What an absolute legend of a dude. And for that little moment there, we completely balked it because Sloth joined and everyone was in there. So, he didn't miss his spot all that much.
Thorn Quest. Obviously, we'll start talking a bit later.
Yeah,
so I did a little bit of that. Did you do the Allegiance quest as well? Did you side?
I am.
Are we waiting for this?
I am yet to pledge my allegiance to anyone. I've seen the quest twice and ignored it twice. So,
wow.
I know who I'm going to side with. But I have always known who I'm going to side with. But
and anyone who knows anything about the law will know that is the correct decision. Especially after the cutscene, which we'll get to in a second. Because
shut the fuck up.
You know the drifter is. And look, me and Sloth had a really. I felt like the Allegiance quest was a really fun quest to bring the community together. There was, Sloth came into my stream and we just shit talked for a good couple hours probably about joining the Vanguard or joining the Drifter. I thought it was really quite cool. There are some complaints I have about it, but in general, yes, please. Can we please have some more like these kind of quests?
I think the only serious complaint I've seen of it so far is that there was no real like big reward at the end of it. It was more the quest itself was a bit of a reward, and like depending on the sort of person you are, that's either like awesome or not. So I totally understand why people were a bit bummed out if they didn't get anything too fucking massive out of it.
Well, I don't know if it's really finished yet. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, like there is a bit in the TWAB where it's sort of like an ongoing thing for the rest of the season. Yeah. So definitely worth it. Slothy, he's out having a dart. All right. You went the Vanguard, mate.
I haven't chosen anything. I have outside of game made the choice of the Vanguard, but I haven't actually chosen anything yet because I still have zero motivation to play Destiny at the moment. That being said,
you were playing Destiny this morning.
I agree. Yeah, to fucking help you out, you twonk. Fucking stacking teams so you can get your goddamn dredging, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
No, I still have zero motivation to play Destiny at the moment. That being said, like as Matt said, so on Wednesday I jumped in and we tore shreds off each other for a good hour or so, and then we actually got into the nuts and bolts of it and had a good chat about it in regards to bringing the community together by splitting it in half.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
a good way
very
to put it.
it's a very divisive choice. Incredibly divisive, actually, to the point where a lot of people, like I was talking shit and calling the Vanguard, the proud communists that they are, and the Drifter is a capital dirty capitalist scum and all that sort of shit, and just taking the piss. But it is if it gets people talking about the game, and it gets people involved in talking about the lore of the game. So if you take 10% of Matt's subscribers on YouTube, so that's about 18,000 people thereabouts. 10%, 18,000 people talking about it. If they tell two of their friends each, 18,000 by two, and they tell two of their friends each, blah 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 blah. Maths is my strong suit, so I'm not going to do that on the fly.
Quick math.
The more people talking about this, the more people are talking about Destiny, and the more people are looking towards Destiny as like, oh, where do they go from here?
Yeah, I
agree.
think sorry, man.
Are we through the what have you done this week? Should we finish off that and then we'll probably get into it, right? Are we going to go straight into it? What else have you done this week, Sloth?
Fuck Denuvo. Fuck the AAA video game industry.
Oh God, let's just not.
Yeah, I've got to leave. No, I've been trying to play Division 2, and Denuvo, the anti-piracy system that Ubisoft have actually said doesn't fucking work.
There was a big news story on this when it first came out, right? What was the story around Denuvo?
It's got a stupid name. It sounds like an untrustworthy fucking solicitor, doesn't it?
You're not wrong. Denuvo rantant cockhead. It's an anti-piracy system that Ubisoft has used in every game since Assassin's Creed Black Flag on PC to stop it from being cracked. Now, a lot of other developers have used it as well, so they can stop the piracy. Now, Ubisoft has said their first retail release of it said, yeah, it puts extra strain on your system, but it stops the hackers and all that sort of thing. They're punishing the computers of the people who go out and buy the game legally it's not punishing the people who are downloading the game illegally, if that makes sense. And it's caused my CPU to max out even without OBS or any of that shit open. It had caused my CPU to max out at 100% for a long time.
Well,
and when you're a streamer, you want to look after your equipment.
Let's just sum that up with the immortal words of Jim Sterling, AAA, and fucking move on, because there's so much Destiny to talk. There's so much Destiny to talk that I don't want to get bogged down in the fucking shitness of anything else. All right? So,
Yep.
All right.
Is anyone else got anything? What the fuck are those kids carrying on about?
Your kids, mate?
No, they're not mine. Kids are fucking jumping into the spa bath that they got out there.
Oh, wait, can you put the hose on them?
Logs.
They're not mine.
They're not fucking mine.
Mine are well-behaved little angels.
No, they're not. They're yours.
They're mine.
Are they your neighbours' kids?
Yes.
Mate, put the hose on them. This is unbelievable.
They're already fucking wet, mate.
Oh,
that doesn't count.
Throw
flour on them. Throw flour on them.
Fucking throw something at them, I'll tell you what.
All right, let's play some music. Thank fuck Sloth here to read the actual show notes, because me and Matt are incapable of it. The amount of abuse that it just uttered from Sloth's mouth in that 5-second gap. The other thing that we didn't quickly before we actually had we're going to do a bit of a Halo fucking thing, but given the amount of insanity that's gone on over the last fucking 2 days, and the fact that Keg's got a lot going on in his life at the moment, and he couldn't really get us the art assets or whatever, I just didn't feel like the imposition was worthwhile. But we do want to shout out 343 and Microsoft for actually releasing Reach and the Master Chief Collection on PC, announcing that to celebrate our 117th episode. So thank you very much, Microsoft.
Yeah, cheers, Microsoft. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
hold on.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate you, mate.
As someone who only ever had a friend with Xbox and Halo, which I did play a lot, but I'd never owned the console, and I only ever played the first Halo. Can you just give me a quick rundown of what this actually means? So what does the Master Chief Collection include? Is that everything?
Yes.
The Master Chief Collection is all of the initial trilogy, except for ODST, and initially did not have Reach.
What does
And
ODST
it was
stand for again?
Orbital Drop Shock Troopers.
Whoa, the law man! All right, yeah.
They released it. They completely revamped the graphics. They brought it into HD, 4K, all that sort of thing. They completely redid the graphics to 1 and 2. 3, it's not really old enough. It wasn't really old enough to do the whole new
It
graphics.
actually holds up surprisingly well.
It really does. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Um,
What the fuck? Okay.
But it is, I mean, obviously Reach wasn't there to begin with. So to be able to get our hands on Halo Reach, which was Bungie's swan song with Halo. It was the last Halo game that they developed before passing it over to 343 Industries. And it was, in the context of my life at the time, it came out 2 weeks before my eldest daughter was born. And like she was due the day it came out. So she was overdue. So there was like this. I was fucking obsessed with Halo at that point. So I'm like, oh, it's going to come out. I'm not even going to be able to play it. But you know, sort of.
My daughter's about to be born, but I can't play Halo. Fucking classic.
I had fucking strange priorities. Then I managed to play through it, and it's actually probably the most moving video game that I've ever played. In terms of the context of
Which
the
one's
story.
this? Reach.
Halo Reach.
Reach.
Yeah.
Where in the sequence is that?
Reach
it
is
was
before Halo 1.
Yeah, it's before Halo 1.
Oh,
but
it's a prequel, but it came out later, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It's built on the
damn,
Halo 3
okay.
engine.
Yeah,
And
so it's actually
really good.
if you're going back and playing
Is
through
it
this
a
for
good
the
place
first
to
time.
start?
Well, yeah. It's not, you know, like you don't play as Master Chief. You don't play as the iconic Halo character. But it'll give you a bit of context as to what's really going on in the greater universe. So like this fucking, it kind of astounds me, Matt, because I'm really looking forward to taking blokes like you and Chook and stuff like that have never really played it through it, because like these games are why I'm fucking psychotic about Destiny. these are like the precursor to Destiny, and it's fucking nuts.
Runs. I'm excited.
Alright,
I'm
so
excited to do a
play Reach, and then what? And then you go into 1, 2, 3.
Reach 1, 2, 3. Oh,
And
sorry.
then what?
Reach 1, 2, ODST 3, 4, 5.
And the
Don't play Halo Wars. Halo Wars are rubbish.
5 is the most recent one.
Yeah.
5 is the most recent one, yes.
And that didn't really launch that well. People were unhappy or something for some reason. Like people didn't really like it, or was it just me?
I just
didn't
think
like 5.
there has been a departure in the tone of the series since 343 sort of took over. And
what about 4?
4
Again.
I didn't mind it, but it was a step away from what the game classically was.
Okay.
And they had,
so
they
if
had
I want to
do that.
relive the golden age, Reach 1, 2, 3.
Reach 1, 2, ODST 3. I highly recommend playing ODST because Nathan Fillion played Buck, who is
he's the main
who was an
character,
ODST. It was an ODST captain, and then he got transferred into the Spartan 5 program, I think, or the Spartan 4 program, and he's now a Spartan in the new series, in the new trilogy. Anyway, beside the point.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's what I really wanted to know, because I never really. So is there going to be split screen still in those originals?
Assume so. I don't think they took that functionality out of it.
It never came out, but you wouldn't play split screen on fucking Steam. Not with your
true.
4K monitor. Motherfucker, you... Stop it.
All right.
No, do you know what happens in Call of Duty when you do it? It drops down to like the resolution. It fucking drops down crazy when you do split screen.
No, well, yeah, it'd be pretty resource heavy, wouldn't it? I'm glad.
Yeah.
I don't
Where
have
are we
to do
starting from? Where are we
It's not the
starting from?
same in
From-
Office compared
There's
to
a
Couch.
gigantic picture of Thorn. Is where we're starting from.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week at Bungie, the 16th of March, 2019, Thorn returns. Yay. No, it seems
Have you
a lot
got?
of people
Oh,
are
you
really
haven't got
excited.
it. No, none of us have got it here yet, have we? Yeah. Okay.
No,
cool.
none of us have got it yet, but I have seen
so-
people talking about it, which is how I base most of my opinions.
Thorn has made a return into the Destiny universe. If you unlock Thorn, you then have the ability to buy the replica and a really cool looking shirt. Actually, it's a really awesome design.
Basically,
From
it's a
Bungie, if you
skull
feel so-
with a thorn bullet
Yeah,
through
it
it,
is.
And
surrounded
roses
by
and-
roses, as a sneaky reference to what Thorn used to be, the rose.
I'm just going to put in a request and see if they can just take the sleeves off it before they even ship it, and then
Just
I'm
cut
in.
it off. Just cut it off.
Why can't you wear something with sleeves?
I
Like,
don't
do you have
know.
any shirts with sleeves?
Yeah, I do. Me good shirt.
Just to
I've got
bollocks.
long sleeve flannels.
That was the most Australian thing ever.
Oh no, mate!
Boy, wear all your shirts with sleeves. That's me good shirt because it's got sleeves on it.
Ets is in the
fucking
chat. June is a fucking badass. June isn't dead. He's MIA. June is not dead. He worked with Dr. Catherine Halsey on the Spartan 4 program. Okay, then there we go. Sorry. Yeah, shut up, Log. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. You must earn Thorn in game. You must have opted in to receive the emails from all Bungie rewards. Bungie rewards code may be generated and redeemed from March 19th through June 4, 2019. Gambit Prime jersey polo shirts. Win a match of Gambit Prime with a single complete set of Notorious armor equipped for a single role. You can unlock the ability to purchase one jersey for each role by winning a Gambit Prime match with a set of Notorious armor equipped for that role. Again, you must have all the emails opted in for the emails for the Bungie rewards, and the rewards code may be generated and redeemed March 19th through June 4th, if you feel so inclined to pick that up.
I'm not so sold on the polo shirts. I can't wear a polo shirt without looking like my dad, because my dad exclusively wears polo shirts. Now that I think about it, there's kind of a genetic issue going on there.
They look a bit esportsy, right? I only quickly glanced them, but they look a bit esportsy. Is that how the sort of
they do
flavor
look
of
a
them?
little bit esportsy, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't mind.
All right, picking sides. We have the Drifter versus the Vanguard, and the Drifter is a big fucking bunch of Reaper mains that listen to My Chemical Romance and Nickelback on repeat. And the Vanguard are our glorious communist brethren who are for the people. So if you choose to go with the either or, if you choose to go with the Vanguard, powerful Vanguard gear, Boon of the Vanguard, 10 Vanguard Tactician tokens, and one singular enhancement core.
Yeah, so I guess this is what people were like. I was having so much fun with the quest when it finished, and that's what you get for the Vanguard. The Drifter, you literally get synths for each sort of type of thing, and you get a powerful bit of gear and some infamy points. And I was like, is that it? But I don't think it's here. I don't think it's finished yet. But the quest itself, I think, to date, is if you're not including things like dungeons and Whisper of the Worm, and just for like a quest like that's sort of point A to point B, I think it was one of the best ones so far. The amount of voice acting they had in there was, I mean, the Drifter is such a wicked, complex character, and I think it would appeal. It's going to appeal to lore nerds and non-lore nerds alike, and it was so cool seeing a different side of history, because that's pretty much my opinion of what the Drifter did.
Don't let the smooth talking Obi-Wan knock off over here
Convince you. Hey, look, I'm going to convince you
because he's actually Savathun in disguise.
I'm going.
Oh God!
Fake.
Did you read that on a fucking toilet door or what?
No, from his chat.
Go to the US, because you'll fit right in with all the fake news over there, mate. All right, so let me
Settle down, paddle pop line.
We try
All
not.
right,
We
mate.
try not to do fucking politics on the DDU, but unless it comes, we can use it as verbal abuse. So, look,
Drifter,
Slothy, hang on. Can I go back to earlier in the week where you did you have a challenge for Matt around this, or was there something that you wanted? You were doing talking up a bit of a Vanguard Drifter showdown.
Ooh.
You know, like I didn't want you to forget.
Ooh, thank you. Yeah. So I challenge Matt and his bunch of traitorous capitalist scumbags.
I don't know why you keep bringing capitalism into this.
Yeah, can we just leave like modern, normal, boring world fucking politics out of it, please?
I challenge Matt to gather himself and
And the
five
rest of the
players.
dredgens. Yeah.
Himself and 5 players to a private match of myself and 5 players, who the 5 players are standing with the Vanguard and the people in the city. Who
do you think is going to be on your stinking team, Sloth?
who do I think is going to be on my team? Well, I have a few people in mind.
Yeah.
Log Power Slave.
Oh, really?
I'm Sassy.
Is Log on your team?
Is he? Are you?
Matt, who would be the first person you would pick to be on your team?
Log Power Slave.
Done.
We got him! We did the old drifter!
Come on, as if I was ever going to side with nagging Auntie Arnor or whatever the fuck her name is. Come on.
Wow.
Oh, this was a long thing. I had to write tweets through gritted teeth all week to get you into this.
Log has been setting this up. He only told me yesterday, whatever. He's like, oh, guess what, Matt? I'm gonna do the old drifter switcheroony when Sloth asked me to join the Vanguard. Oh.
Yeah, I'll just wait just long enough to goad him into a challenge and then switch.
Wow.
But hey, you know what? It's the one time.
And 4, you 2 and 4 versus myself and 5, and we'll have a little competition.
I think that would be fun. That would be fun.
It'll be
That'd
fun. We'll get to swear at each other, which is really what it's all about. So
Can we make it very aesthetic, and maybe we can have some like film at the beginning, like you guys have to wear all Vanguard gear, and we can have all the
No, go fuck
you're on.
yourself. That's just extra work that I.
Oh, what? The Vanguard gear's no good? Oh, that's
No.
right. Too bad, man. You better.
Oh no!
Oh, no,
You're still a warlock, and you wear your fucking mother's drapes to fucking work, you ponce.
Look. Okay, if you're on the fence, I'm going to convince you now with 3 easy points for why you should choose a drifter. Point number 1: the drifter knows.
Matt, did you just kick him? You're an idiot.
No.
You did. You did. Get him back in here. Now the whole childish.
Why do you always do this to me?
You know what? Sloth doesn't realise, but the whole stream just became his face when he did that.
Oh no, I saw it.
For the audio listeners, Sloth kicked me from the chat.
Yes.
Look, no, there is a couple of look. Don't kick me again, okay?
Yeah, don't. I'll get
Oh,
you.
now you've thrown me. classic politics. Reason one. The drifter has seen the next collapse and is preparing for it. If you side with him, you get a seat. Reason number 2, he literally can summon the tank. The only person that's done that before him is Oryx. So, you know. Reason number 3, Anor is a praxic rat. She's literally a snitch. She's the most annoying character you probably ever come across. Done. Rebuttals? You don't even know, do you, Sloth?
Well,
He just doesn't want Shax to pull his arms off. That's really.
let me tell you something about this.
Reason number 4, the Vanguard, you're not actually with the Vanguard. You're with Anor.
Yeah.
You become a secret agent for Anor. You're not actually siding with the Vanguard. And Akora Ray and Zavala are contemplating disbanding the Vanguard. Anyway, That's in
So
the
we
stolen
need a
intelligence.
I will side with Thanor. I will side with Thanor. The reason being is that she stands with the people. She defends the people. She has not killed people.
Yes, she has.
It's,
Yes, she
has
has.
not killed civilians.
Yes, she has.
No, she hasn't.
According to the Drifter, she has.
God, this is just
Yeah,
misinformation.
According to
the
a
Drifter,
lying dickbag, according to a lying
she
former
leveled the
Dredgen
city.
who followed the writings of fucking Goober Smooch that killed fucking 30, 40 odd Guardians with his goddamn pistol. Don't start.
It's
He's a
for the
liar,
greater good.
and he is
For
a
the greater
fuckhead.
Reason
He
six.
does not
Reason
stand
six.
with the people.
Reason 6 to side with the Drifter. I can tell you right now. Go to ishtarcollective.net. Read For Every Rose of Thorn. It'll make your decision very,
Yeah, no spoilers in chat.
very
but
fucking simple.
if you know any of the law, you know that I'm right.
And you'll also
let me put it
understand
to you
why I
this way.
deliberately fucked around like this for a week.
let me put it to you this way then, okay? We'll see who's right on the battlefield, shall we, Matt?
Okay. I hope we beat you.
Yeah,
because
I mean, honestly, me being there's a disadvantage
Trust
for
me.
you. So sorry.
Trust me when I say you'll be lucky.
is Sassy really going to go with it? Has he really sided the Vanguard? Such a mama's boy.
Nah, we can. Yeah, I saw Sloth kill him in Gambit this morning. He's not unkillable.
He was standing still, and I had a Queensbreaker and still took two shots to kill him.
Well, that's a you
so
problem.
that's the Allegiance quest. It's worth it. It's fun.
Yeah, see, look
Really
at what
good.
it's done to us. It's
Look,
divided us, and it's going to bring us together to kick each other's heads in the crucible. So
I think the only complaint I actually, when I made the video about it, I actually thought that you got different like lore because if you go with the Vanguard, you actually get the rest of the Praxic and Nor book, and if you don't go with the Vanguard, you actually don't get those entries. So I thought you'd get something different, and what I thought was the tapes you actually get from the Drifter, that was your sort of lore that only you got, but the Vanguard get it too. So my only sort of I guess criticism of that is I would really love in the future for when you pick the Allegiance quest that there is some sort of path divergence. It was quite superficial. It was still really cool, but it didn't really have as much impact. Like they made it seem like it was heaps of impact, but it really wasn't. And it would be really nice for them to get an actual separate quest. Really, the Allegiance quest is two separate quests. It's one for the Vanguard and one for the Drifter, whereas this was really just one quest from two different perspectives rather than two quests. So I think I would like that. And then obviously the loot, but I don't think it's really quite finished yet. But in general, love the idea of like picking a side. I do think this adds a lot of complication for future DLCs. Like, this should be forever? Does that mean now the Drifter is going to have two separate different lines in anything that comes up in Destiny's universe? So like, if he asks us to do something, does he not ask the Vanguard?
I don't know. I think the fact that he verbally
believe
abuses people, like calls people snitches and shit in Gambit, is literally the most fucking incredible thing ever.
I fully believe that the Drifter is not going to last. He's not going to last until.
You reckon they're going to cut him? No way. He's too good of a character.
No, they may not cut him, but I'm going to figure out a way to cut him from the fucking game.
Oh, well.
Traitorous bastards.
You heard it here. If you're listening to this episode, please direct your rage to Real Time Sloth. Not me or Matt. We like the Drifter. He's good.
But on the lore side of the Allegiance quest,
You are.
I knew I'd get him.
Fucking goth.
I knew I'd get him.
Dick brains. Fucking paint your nails black with your fucking.
You know what? I was going to paint my nails black for this podcast just because I knew you'd say that, and I forgot. And now I'm really upset that I didn't. Anyway, let's actually move on and talk about some other shit.
Look, I want to say a couple other things for the lore nerds out there. Really interesting. Obviously, the whole like seeing the next collapse was something that was probably the take-home message of the tapes. Is like the drifters like, I've seen the next collapse. It's coming. That's what we're preparing for. And then there's a bunch of different snippets pretty much telling a different perspective of the Dark Age. Like he described how the Iron Lords leveled a whole city to take out the Warlords, so they weren't really any good. He describes like dying from hunger and then being rezzed by his ghost, still hungry and stuff like that. So if you look at the details of it, like a doomsday prep he's basically preparing for the end of the world. So he gets you to go get fuel. He gets you to get Cabal meat to eat. And it is also the 21% delirium talks about him eating the Fallen. So like he's like properly preparing for the end of the world by getting you to collect like energy and meat and all this other kind of rubbish. And that's sort of the general gist of it, is preparation for the second collapse. And it's sort of described as it's not like it's not just a prediction. It's like it's happened. Like he describes that he's seen the future. It describes it in like post.
He's not a seer. He's not a prophet. He's a lying dickhead trying to get ahead.
You don't know that. You don't know that. The other thing that comes along with the quest is the lore book basically around the Drifter himself, right? The man with no name. That you unlock parts of that. Now, I mean, I went through and read everything I could. So
the man with no name. How did you get that?
I thought that was tied in with that quest. Was it?
I haven't seen it unlocked yet. No.
Right. Well, maybe I was jumping the gun on that.
That's what I expected to get out of it, but I was surprised it wasn't dropping. Right. I know the Thorn book is dropping when you get Thorn and you get kills and stuff with Thorn. You actually get entries for that, but I haven't seen the man with no name drop yet. Maybe someone can correct us in chat.
Right. We'll look into that and confirm it.
Lore Master not got any lore yet?
Oh.
He's got all the lore. It's on Ishtar.
Someone's saying there's a slight echo on me. I think I can hear that too. I think I'm coming through someone's headset a bit louder. It's going back in the microphone. But it's not happening now.
Yeah, it's probably my headset. Anyway, that's life.
Right.
All right. So moving on. We've got the tier 3, the Reckoning. I opened this up this week, so I've watched a little bit of it. I haven't had a chance to play any of it due to the light level requirements being 680 or so. But it is an evolution again on what the Reckoning is so far. But the kind of surprise in it all was the familiar face that pops up that is sort of the bad guy at the end of it. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I mean,
Oryx, shadow of Oryx.
Yeah, like basically a miniature Oryx at the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know what the implications of. Well, actually, I probably do. This is all. Are these beings that the Drifter is summoning? We know the Drifter can summon Taken using motes. I mean, that's what he does with the motes of dark. So he created the Shadow of Oryx, or the whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think he created it in a way based on something we'd fear or something that would have an impact on us, right? I mean, I guess it doesn't work if you never played Destiny 1, but fuck, for me, I'm going, oh shit. Like I hadn't read anything. I was watching Glad do one of the 75 runs or whatever that he did this morning of tier 3 Reckoning and like belting through it. And when the enemy popped up at the end, I was like, Jesus, what? And then sort of had to go back and read through some of the lore and figure it out. And why is that? I
think the biggest thing right now is I think everyone likes Reckoning. It's just what you have to do to get there. And we spoke about it last week, and you're sort of seeing more comments on it now from what I've seen in Twitter, and that is that Love the Reckoning not really enjoying how to get there, which is grinding the stuff with binding.
And that's
really.
That's my issue with Destiny.
Yeah, and it is really a motivation issue for me. Yeah. I just sort of like, even if it wasn't the quickest way, I wish I could just do Gambit Prime and Reckoning. I wish I could just play the new content and get powerful gear. Maybe not as fast as doing all your dailies and all your weeklies, but like if I could play 5 games of Gambit Prime or whatever the economy needs to be, right? I would much rather play new content, even if it takes a little bit slower, and keep getting powerful engrams. Like I honestly would just grind out Gambit Prime, and I would grind out Reckoning just to even if it's 1-2 levels each time, just to get new stuff coming through.
Do you think that like if they gave new activities a chance to drop, like not as milestones, but just at the end of game, light level advancing gear, like even if it was one in every fucking 10 games, you got a piece that dropped that would actually genuinely level you up randomly, rather than have all of your progression tied to the milestone? Do you think that'd be an acceptable kind of like middle ground? Because I totally agree that really like having to go back and play old Gambit when Gambit Prime exists, when you've got everything for dredging and there's no real reason to, is just like, well, why? Like it's like the poor man's Gambit as it stands.
At the same time, I get keeping other stuff relevant. I actually really liked how they did it for the the Thorn quest. Like I enjoyed going back to Esky Protocol. Like that was actually pretty fun. And maybe that's where you make your other stuff, you make sure people are still using the things you spent years making, right? Like it's not just putting the dumpster straight away. But, right now I'm not playing anything because I know that I need to, or I'm playing very, very few hours because I know that I need to just basically grind my power level until I can get back in the Reckoning. And so I'm not intensely motivated to that. Maybe I'll get on, do the dailies, and that's it. Whereas if it was new stuff, I'd probably be playing more Destiny if I knew I could get powerful gear from it.
If it was new stuff, like as you said last week, Log, they're only using half of the content that they have released, and it's redundancy. And it's, well, to me, I'm going to call a spade. It's fucking boring.
I mean,
at the moment,
to be forced to do the same old stuff that you've been doing for nearly a year at this point, I think if they're serious about wanting people to play, like I honestly still don't believe that Gambit Prime and Gambit should be separate. I think that they should really, in the grand scheme of things, be the one game type somehow. Like figure out, you can get into Gambit Prime or get special Gambit Prime rounds. I don't fucking know. It's above my pay grade to figure that out. But to have two separate fucking activities that are the same thing, that I just think that that's self-defeating in and of itself. Like it's just splitting the pool of players and splitting, your resource pool straight off the bat. I think that going forward, I would like to see if they're going to make us play through old content to get like to progress like this. If we're going to be pushed back into strike playlists, if we're going to be pushed back into the Crucible, if we're going to be pushed back into base Gambit, there's got to at least be a new strike, a new map, and a new map, right? Like there needs to be content coming into those things to at least freshen it up somewhat. Gambit's like a great example of, they can do a lot with Gambit, with changing out the enemies and things like that. Crucible, not so much. But if you sort of, with Crucible, you've got that, you can juggle the playlists too. Fuck, I mean, bring back Rift, bring back like different game types so that at least it's not go and play Control or Clash for forever to get your thing again. I think that they're the kinds of like rotational things that they need to be seriously looking at. But, like as it stands, I think that the stuff that they're creating now is great. It's just the method of getting to them needs work, right?
Yeah, I think that's a general thing. Everyone's like, this is cool. I think everyone's sort of gotten used to the slow drip feed. I think everyone's gotten used to and I like it. I like this, I think it keeps it fresh. Like Invitation of the 9 drop. That was really cool this morning. Jumped on, did an hour, did 2 hours.
Once you get to 700, once you get to power level, it's interesting. Because then you can jump in and go, hey, there's new lore here. Fuck, let's grind it out. Like we don't have to worry about infusing the same old shit. Man. It's the grinding to the top. And just on what you were saying there before, Log, about Gambit and Gambit Prime being the same thing, Ronaldo's actually come in and said, g'day mate, that the original Gambit is for people who own Forsaken but don't own the annual pass.
Yeah, I know that. We were talking about that last week, but that's why the separation aware, exists. But
that the separation is there for that alone. Anyway,
that interesting point you say this, Loth, is like I feel like Destiny and Bungie place a really big burden on just getting to max level. Whereas other games make it a little bit easier to get to max level, and then you focus on min-max and you focus on your rolls and you focus on your builds. And I feel like in general, Destiny, the barrier just to get to max, like I rarely get to max now and then play around with min-maxing, but just because for someone who doesn't play as many hours as me, it takes me a while to get there. And so I'm not really ready to put more time in.
We joke about it, but like you, as what you do with YouTube and all that sort of thing, you play Destiny once a week.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty much.
That's it.
Like it's
with time pool.
It's
I think we all are to an extent.
Like the average player who works 9 to 5 and then plays a couple of hours every night, if they play a couple of hours every night, it's just playing the content that has been around since August last year to get up to power to do the new stuff, because the new stuff that they can do at their current power is dropping stuff that they're dropping gear that is under their light. It's just for me.
I think they've heard the feedback though. I feel like they've heard that feedback now, and
I don't even want to hear I don't even want to hear the dreaded words of "we're listening to you." I just want them to fucking do it.
But I feel like there's a bit more trust with Destiny's done a very good job at making a lot of changes and incorporating community in summits and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm saying is I think there will be changes to annual pass, probably not with Penumbra, but in post Penumbra, I think they're really going to go back to the drawing board about how do we, it's fucking tough for them, because how do you make content, right, that is not just blitzed in the first week, because then people stop playing as well, because that was the issue with Destiny 2. It was too easy to get to max level, right? How do you make content that people don't just blitz through, but you also make it interesting, but it also needs to fit in essentially an annual pass DLC, which means, they're dividing their resources amongst, Season Drifter, Season of Opulence, blah, blah, blah. How do we fit this into a live service model? That's what they're getting paid to do. That's their job, to work out. I'm just saying it's a hard thing to balance. And that's always a hard thing to balance.
We don't know anything about game development here. We just sort of call it how we see it here. When it comes to it's very difficult to change up the model at the moment. It's very, very difficult to change the model at the moment because they're kind of stuck in this 12-month rotation of the annual pass. And we'll see where Destiny goes post-September this year. Post-September this year. But it's... I don't know. I can't even remember where I was going with that. I did have a point, I promise.
Hang in there, Slothy. Hang in there. You seem defeated.
I'm just so fucking disappointed in you two, eh?
Oh, for dredging.
I am disappointed in you two, and I am legitimately shocked. And I will never, ever fucking believe a tweet from you ever again, Luke.
I'll use his real name. All right.
Oh, I'm in deep shit now.
I guess, I haven't done tier 2 or tier 3, to be honest. I need to.
I've done tier 2 and was under leveled for it, and it was insanely difficult. So, for me, which is probably normal for everyone else. But I think, I'm excited to get in and do it, but I know that I'm a ways off it yet in terms of light level. So to be honest, I am sort of staring down the barrel of that, doing the old stuff to get to the new stuff thing again. And to not labor on the point, I wish I could just do it all playing Gambit, but it's going to be interesting to see.
That's sort of where I'm at right now too.
Yeah.
I wish I could just do it playing Gambit.
It's like a hurdle. It's like a hurdle to get over, but yeah, I don't know. Time will tell. It looks like it's great, though. I've sat and watched Glad play it for an hour, the Savo, while I was doing up the run sheet and whatnot. So definitely looks enjoyable. And the fact that it feeds back into Gambit and the gear that they're getting out of it, and, I got to see the 20 moat summon on the Cabal of whatever your 20 moat blocker. It's
what is the 20 moat blocker?
Massive big fat Cabal thing with a massive big shield dude.
It's a phalanx.
Yeah, like, but it huge. Chunky
Similar-
boy.
similar to-
Really?
His
similar
name
to one
is
of the,
Chunky Boy.
Similar to one of
Chungus.
the Ascendant realm bosses in the Dreaming City, if I remember correctly. The one that's at the
Yeah.
very tower that boops you off. Yeah, he's a big fucker.
He's a
is
big boy.
chunks. He's
Yeah.
a big
Oh,
chunk.
okay, all right. I'm. See, I want to do that. I want to play that loop.
Yeah,
I
I
want
know,
to play
and it's-
Gambit
it just
Prime. I
feels
want to
too
go
far
on a
away.
Reckoning. I want to go back
Well,
in Gambit Prime.
this-
I want to go on Reckoning. I want to do that loop.
I want to.
Fuck, that sounds cool.
Damn it! Chuck a straw poll in the live chat, but people who are watching on YouTube, let us know. Let us know how often you actually play and how often you actually get to max light during these seasons. Please,
Yeah.
I legitimately would like to know.
Yeah.
And if you get there, cool. If you don't, and if you have a few seconds, could you tell us why you don't get there? Whether it's time constraints or you just find the content
Lack of motivation.
like lack of motivation, or like be brutal, but don't be like rude.
Be
me.
honest. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, be honest, but don't be a cock end.
Um,
But
the other thing that I realized too, watching Glad, I mean, he's obviously very switched on when it comes to Destiny, but that you can actually consume the motes of each little subclass to increase your like your stack for it. So he only had 4 of the collector pieces on, which left him just like I think 2 points shy of having the 20.
Oh, yeah, I did read this.
The 20 collector, but he then consumed a mote and could for half an hour, last for half an hour on consumption, then be the 5 stack. So it means I never have to take my helmet off, which I'm very happy about.
oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I did
can you
read
do
that,
that
but
on
I-
all?
I
Can you do that on all
instantly
sets of
forgot.
armor, or just the notorious armor?
No, on all of them. It's there. I went in and checked, and you can do it. You could do it now with lower level armor to get, say, like tier 3 perks on it or something. But I thought that's
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 kinda cool.
it kind of, once you've got the armor that you've got, you could. I wonder how close you could get to running 2 sets simultaneously. Like that's what I'm getting at. Like, could you? How close can you really get to running? You know, like if you could balance the 2 mid-tier perks of it, I reckon that'd be fucking crazy. Anyway, I don't know. I'm sure people will min-max the shit out of it, and there will be some kind of meta for what to do going forward with your armor pieces in Gambit Prime. But definitely a little nuance there that I didn't realize was there. So cool.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that a lot of people have spoken about in regards to, like in strength this week, for me is a lot of some people have been talking about why there's no crossover between the seasons. Like, as you said last week, there's a little bubble of content. So the Forges bubble, the Drifter bubble. And my mod, Kieran, actually asked me, he goes, Adam, do you reckon that they'll carry on the Drifter Vanguard story into Season of Opulence? And from what we've seen thus far, they don't interact. They're like two different corners of the same puzzle piece.
I mean,
and they
this
just
has
don't
always
interact.
This has always been the feedback. You know, this is the feedback that we gave at the summit too.
That's the feedback that you would have given about Curse of Osiris and Warmind. They kind of exist in their own little pocket.
It's been there since Destiny 1, and
I mean, yeah,
and it's you know, like, did we ever really find out what happened? We didn't find out what happened to the Exo Stranger. I don't know. That finished in fucking D1.
Didn't she like leave a fucking spear in
she
New England
became
or some
Elsie
shit?
Bray. Right.
Left-
So
she left an email on a computer saying, "Fuck it, I quit."
I obviously would love greater continuity between seasons. And then this is my
story?
well,
Like
yeah.
the
Well, this
overarching
is
story
my
of
point
Destiny,
when they introduced the Allegiance quest. So that's what I was saying before. What does this mean now that the Drift is going to talk to us differently forever? And my probably gut feeling is probably no.
Yeah,
It's
next
probably just
season
gonna
it'll
be.
trigger back.
And
yeah.
this was the issue when D2 first came out, and like Saladin, and there was that bug where Saladin didn't recognize you as an Iron Lord. or they didn't put it in or whatever. And he's like, hey, Guardian. And you're like, what up, motherfucker? I'm an Iron Lord. You gave me this.
Motherfucker, I saved the Iron Temple.
Right. And that kind of continuity failure is, I don't know. It is an issue.
It stings. It's annoying. It's annoying. But
annoying.
like, I think with things like that, Destiny is still not out of its like you look at it right now as like the teenager, right? Like it's getting to where it needs to be as an entity, but because of the look at the last 2.5 years of revision on revision of the way we're going to roll out fucking material and everything. And, you know, we've gone from a model where each DLC was a standalone thing and sort of it updated the game as it went with it, but it was more story based. Now we're in this seasonal model where we get content come with like more cyclical content. I think to have an overarching narrative among all of that, It'd need to be pre-planned and pre-planned very well, and they probably haven't had that fucking luxury, to be perfectly honest.
Well, no, I'm going to rebut myself, and the one thing that is being knitted together is the pyramid ships, right?
True.
The pyramid ships came at the end of the final cutscene in D2 campaign. They re-emerged in Mara's courtroom. And I think if they bring them back in some fashion, whether it's in opulence or something else, I will admit there is that nice. I think the really high level strings are there, but I think that like finer detail with like vendors and other stuff carrying over maybe isn't. I mean, Ronaldo though put in chat that they've said that your choices with the drifter will carry through to other seasons. So you know, maybe we're out of place here saying that they're not going to, carry over.
We don't know. We're only just speculating. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, just before we go on, ladies and gentlemen, a friend of the cast, friend of ours, and all-around pest, Chucky Wookie is his 47th birthday
74th
today.
birthday, mate. You mixed it up.
Sorry, 74th birthday today. It's his birthday today, and he gives me a lot of shit, and he gives me gives all of us a lot of shit, and we give him a lot of shit. But happy birthday, mate! Phil's birthday man and all that sort of thing in the chat for him. You're a bullhead, and no one likes you.
1 year closer to death. Good. Right. Moving on.
No, in regards, I will actually disagree with you. They're saying that Destiny has moved forward. Is that
I think you'd find yourself pretty much universally on your own with that attitude.
If I'm universally on my own, I mean, what else is new? But I think at the end of Destiny 1 with Age of Triumph, they were in a really good spot to step forward, and they took 3 paces backwards.
Yeah, well, we know that
with Destiny 2, and they're only just now getting back to that place.
Yeah.
Well, they're not back to that place, and they're not like that's the thing. They're not even trying to get back to that place. They're trying to go somewhere else. I think because and I think that's the issue is that we're still inventing the wheel. Like once we really knuckle this shit out, and we get to a point where it becomes serviceable in the time frames that is required, then we're home and hosed, and it'll be much smoother sailing, and things like overarching stories and plots that run through multiple seasons will be far easier to stitch in. But that's my opinion anyway. I mean, fuck, take it or leave it.
I think you and I both agree on this, Log, is that we want the Bungie to make the best Destiny.
I think everyone agrees.
We want them to make. We want them. Well, a lot of people. A lot of people. Like they go on Twitter and they say, just make it better or make it do this, or like Division did this, or Anthem did this.
People on Twitter. Fuck people on Twitter.
Fuck people on Twitter.
Right. Let's actually talk about the news.
We've had this conversation a fair few times, so I reckon let's move on to invitations of the 9.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the invitations of the 9 are. To begin, you'll need to track down Zur in addition to his exotic inventory. He'll also offer a quest item for you to complete each week for up to 9 weeks. Each week you engage, you'll be invited to learn more about the Nine and unlock pages to delve deeper into their story.
One every week for 9 weeks. Tentacle Face is on Titan on the rig today, so you can find him there.
You should start doing videos like that on your channel, man.
And
just make sure that they run for. Just make sure that they run for 10 minutes so you can get that roll in, mate.
10 and 2, mate.
Yeah, 10 and 2. So we've got some more. Oh, yeah.
Hold on. We're going to talk about the cutscene.
We're going to have to because seriously, it was pants-shittingly good.
Do you reckon we could? No, we can't really play it, can we?
No, I know what you're doing.
We can't
why don't
play
you watch it why don't you watch it, Sloth, while we talk about it?
No, I'll watch it after the cast. You guys just tell me about it.
Okay.
Matt, go.
I don't know, man. I only watched it once, so you might be more. Did you watch it a couple more times, Log?
Yes.
I watched it 4
times. Well,
you probably have more information, so
I don't know that I do. You approach things from a different perspective, but basically, and if you have not yet watched it and do not want to be spoiled, just not earmuffs.
Yeah, it is a really good cutscene. We'll type in we'll type in chat when we're no longer talking about it. How about that?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on YouTube, spoiler warning. There is spoilers upcoming. Watch out for the spoilers. Mute, quick, mute, quick. All right, let's go.
So basically, this film clip is a dredgen and what appears to be a shadow sitting down playing some kind of card game that I don't understand with a drifter. Now,
it was the original snippet we saw in the Vidoc. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So he sits down and isn't all that pleased with the drifter, to be perfectly honest. He accuses him of abandoning more or less the whatever. I don't know. I mean, this is the murky part of it, and Matt and I have discussed this, is that he says you are no longer following his ways or something to that effect. And the drifter says, I'm out or whatever. And then
I'm out, boy.
Said dredgen, said shadow, pulls Thorn out and is about to shoot good old Drifty Drift in the face. And Drifter does his Larry Uncle routine of producing he's got his hands up, produces a mote of dark and summons a taken captain that unceremoniously
just yeets him.
Just fucking punches the dredgen through a railing and off a cliff or something somewhere. He didn't look like he was coming back. I'll put it that way.
No, I think they were on the derelict, weren't they?
Yeah.
Or were they somewhere else?
I think they were in the drifter's ship. So he's just fucked him off. The captain then proceeds to step forward to the drifter like he's going to attack the drifter, and the drifter says, "Easy boy," or something to that effect. And then the drifter looks like he's a bit panicked, like he's lost control of this particular taken, and then it gets sucked down a gigantic space toilet, vanished, and then the emissary of the Nine is there. And she says something to the effect of, the Nine are interested in you. They've granted you a gift. And there's a big bang. And then there's a giant rock attached to the back of the drifter's ship, otherwise known as the space testicle that we've been looking at for however long.
So it confirmed that the Nine gifted the Hall to the drifter, which explains how, the previous lobby of the drifter, like he just made his own pocket universe and just somehow collected this space junk from around the universe to create this thing which no one has ever been able to do. But now it's sort of confirmed that was a gift from a Nine. So that fills in a lot of blanks to how we're transported to the Nine's plane and all that kind of thing. The other thing that is really interesting that the emissary says, the drifter, is that there's only been 2. She says, I remember your trials, and there's only been 2 who have been worthy before you. And she doesn't say the name, but she says, I can't remember the exact quote. One's about time, hourglass, and one's about blades. And checking in with my trusted law source, and on Pig, his prediction is she's talking about Osiris with the time travel, and she's talking about Skolas with the Blades because we know that the 9 let Skolas go. And I believe there is a lore card in the Dust lore book that helps confirm that. So the only 2 other people deemed worthy by the 9 was Skolas, potentially Osiris, and then the Drifter, who was then gifted the Hall, which is the basically giant testicle that takes you into the
what
Nine's
if
plane.
time refers to, and I know that this is a bit of a funny type of situation, but what if they're talking about Elsie Bray?
Could be Extra Stranger. The other things that I thought of was
Fuck, I didn't think of that.
The reason why the Extra Stranger would make sense too is because the Queen was mentioning the Extra Stranger, and we know the Queen met with the emissary before. And my sort of thoughts has been all of these people are working together to prevent the second collapse. Queen, the 9, the Drifter, and maybe these 2 other people who are deemed worthy. Well, not Skulls because he got killed, but you know, it also, I guess, pushes an agenda. The 9 are using the Drifter for something rather than the Drifter using the 9 for something. I think that's probably interesting as well. I've had a lot of questions to who it's a hunter, right? Who the hunter is wielding Thorn and how did that happen?
Well, people are really, really set on saying that it's Dredge and Vale. Honestly,
we won't go there. That would make sense. Well, it's a shadow of Yor. I think that's easy to determine, and I think people get confused with Thorn. And the reason why Thorn's confusing is because there's the original Thorn, wielded by Dredge and Yor, who was killed. And from memory, I don't think there's actually any lore about where that went. And then when the Shadows of Yor came back in, is it Rise of Iron or Age of Triumph? Whenever they reintroduced Thorn for the first time, we refabricated it just like we did now. So just like we fabricated Thorn again in D2.
It was like a clone Thorn.
Yeah, we made Thorn again in Destiny 1. And there's a ton of lore talking about the Shadows of Yor, and it's like, hey, what you got there? Thorn, freshly crafted. And they go into the Crucible and they cause a bunch of havoc. So the Shadows of Yor had it way back when. And so you'd probably just assume that was like an OG Shadow of Yor with Thorn talking to the Drifter, because we know that this is probably a long time ago, because the Drifter's timeline is like he was around during the Dark Age, so like immediately post-collapse near Iron Lords, and then went to the Icy Moon. And so I don't know, I think I'd probably place this just after he'd already killed his whole crew, maybe, and then started running with Callum and the Shadows of Yor. I assume it's probably in that sort of era. So they would have been around with wielding Thorn.
I can't say what I think without like talking about all
ruining
that.
the other book.
Yeah, without ruining the whole other book. So I'm just going to sit it out, and when that comes out, which it should, in a week or two, we should be able to talk about it more openly. But I don't want to ruin it for anyone because it's huge. But
YouTube has fucking ruined it already, and it pisses me off. They post stuff like that.
Motherfuckers.
Anyway.
No respect.
Yeah.
All right,
no
but
respect for
honestly, go and do the Invitation to the Nine. That sounds like, I'm honest, I don't know if it's an unrealistic expectation that we're going to get a cutscene every week. That I think that's probably setting the bar a little bit high, especially a cutscene of this caliber. But at the same time, it'd be a very interesting way for the story to move forward. We wouldn't have seen anything like that yet. We saw the one-off in Mara's realm with Aldrin and whatnot. So I think that we could be seeing a bit of an expansion on storytelling here, hopefully.
Yeah, I really like my feedback by this, like the good things about this kind of storytelling is I think once you get used to this like slow build up and this it's almost like a drug, this slow lore release. I think it's really cool. Like, they force you to make a decision on your allegiance, right? With not having all the information.
Yeah, it's
so
cruel.
They ask you,
cruel.
To go with what you know, or the Vanguard, or to reject everything you know and take a risk with the Drifter. And then they show you this fucking cutscene. You're like, what? And so like it's like I like that because then people start questioning their allegiance and like, or they go, oh yeah, I've made the right decision 100%. Or they go, oh crap, like, oh no, why did I do that?
I better run a second character just in case. Like, yeah, I get it. I like that. I think it's cruel, but at the same time, it's a very interesting way to tell the story. So that's I don't know.
Was
I mean,
anything
I
else,
thought it was
anything
great
else
so
interesting in that cutscene? So it's all about the trial. I mean, it's sort of starting to reveal the trials of the night. It's starting to reveal deeming people worthy, which is interesting. The Dust book I'm looking at the moment, that actually reveals the origins of Xur and the emissary, which is really cool.
Is there real origins of Xur? I didn't like who he was.
Yeah, how he's created. Yeah.
Wow, I must have missed that. There you go. Either that or I read it. Like I read the fucking TWAB notes that we have here, and I just didn't absorb any of it and whatever. Anyway, I'm going to go on Ishtar after this. So good. A few changes coming into Gambit this week, Slothy. If you would be so kind.
It looks like he's watching the video.
Oh, never mind. I think he might be.
Look. Well,
I'm happy enough to keep talking about it.
I'll give this a shot at summarizing this, right? Polish and Prime, changes coming to Gambit. Gambit matchmaking. With the release of this very blog article, Gambit received some updates in matchmaking. We are tuning the experience to where solo players can expect to match with other solo players more frequently. It will still be possible for a pre-made fire team to match against a team comprised of solo players, but we expect this to happen less frequently. So cool. Go into Gambit solo. Hopefully you'll get matched with other solo players. It's not guaranteed, but they're looking at changing matchmaking. So
blueberries can't be trusted.
I mean, I love that. I really dig that.
I think it's, it's one of those things, and maybe if it works in this, then they've got to look at that for the Crucible as well.
I am nervous for us, like that we probably all prefer to play solo now because we're not that good as a team either.
Yeah.
So we're probably just going to get fucking stomped.
Whenever we play, we're normally the shittest person in our team. But either that or we're going to play as a team and get put against literal fucking gods.
Yeah, probably.
So
that
cutscene is pretty cool.
It is cool, right?
Really He's still a fucking numpty traitor, a scumbag prick, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Go on. If you want to,
we were talking about this on your stream, but as much as he's a as much as I don't like the Drifter, I don't trust him, blah blah blah. He's one of the best.
He's a great character.
One of the best characters.
As a vendor, I probably Eris and the Drifter, I think, have been the best vendors.
Yeah, the most interesting, to say the
most interesting vendors.
Legit.
Right.
Like he's his character. So there's one thing that I
his character is polarizing. You either love him or hate him, and it's not Ashemere hate. It's not like I fucking don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to you hate. It's like I hate you, but I still want to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly. You make me feel uncomfortable.
and that's the reason why I really like the character. He's the one thing that I really don't like about Destiny is that a lot of the voice acting, while very good, doesn't have the direction for the universe. Like they haven't been directed by Bungie to, like they haven't been given the whole situation. It's not in their head where they are, if that makes sense. The voice actors, they're just talking at the player. There's no one of the few.
I don't know. I don't agree. I don't really agree with that at all. I think they all say so much different stuff that if you stand by one long enough, you'll probably hear them say something you've never even heard before.
No. I'm not talking about their lines, as in like they haven't gotten any direction from the story writing team. And that's what I really don't like about this game. Like
Well, I think you can see with the
Zavala
Drifter.
and
I think the Drifter improves on that.
Yeah, like Cade was a great character. Nathan Fillion is a fantastic actor, fantastic VO. But I didn't like Cade.
Are you just trying to fucking trigger people today?
No.
He's just got his
on stream as well.
He's got his knickers in a
trying to
knot.
troll.
He's got his knickers in a knot because everyone went fucking dredging on him.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
he's-
Legit. No, Cade was a great character, but he just wasn't. I just
Look, the thing I'll agree with you is I think that Destiny can improve with storytelling through vendors.
yes,
And not just I think that they're nailing the written lore, and I think they've got all the talent for the voiceover. It's not at the level that I think it can be because they've got all the puzzle pieces there. They've got ability to, when you go to a vendor, the scene changes and you know he's literally talking to you. But I do think with what you see with the Drifter in season of the Drifter, I think that should become the standard. And if that became the standard, I think across the board you'll see just the story improve through
because I can't words good. But Orion Cygnus says it's like they don't know the motivations of the characters they're supposed to be playing. Exactly. I'm not having a go at Peter for being flat. He didn't have the. It seems like he didn't have the direction about the character he was playing. Nolan North is a little bit better. I would have preferred if the Ghost was a little bit more open quotes human. But the Drift, I totally agree, Matt. If the person who played the Drifter, if they could get that same direction onto, whoever directed that person in the voice booth, if they could get that and the story writers together and just go, this is his motivation.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the
universe would be much better. Like it would just be.
I think like seriously, this does directly harken back to what we talked about with the threads of story running through the entire thing. Like if you could give a character depth that would run through the course of a 3-year game, if not longer, given that some of them have already been around for fucking 5 years, and when you're talking about Korra and Zavala and all of that. But if you could give a voice actor the brief on not only what they do in this short expanse of the game, but this is ultimately where their character arc is going to end up, there would be nuance that they could put into the character that would not necessarily belie where they're going to end up, but would make them make more sense when you look back at them and add depth. I didn't understand what you meant to be like off the bat, Slothy, but I do agree that there are things like that I really honestly hope that once the content models and shit are ironed out, that they can absolutely focus on something like that, because it'll give the scope of the people writing the overarching stories the lead time that they need to be able to get in and give the voice actors the full information and brief of the character and move from there. That may be unrealistic in games. I mean, this is a highly fucking volatile industry. Maybe it's a pipe dream, but at the same time, you know, I hope.
Just to double down and say, I'm not having a go at the voice actors. The voice actors are very, very good.
Yeah, they are incredible. Yeah,
they are like the voice actors and the actors they had. Gina Torres, Nathan Fillion, the lass that played Samira. Very good voice acting, very good actors. Very flat in their performance in Destiny because they didn't get the direction from the story team.
You know what I'll say?
The only person,
you know what I'll say?
VA, yeah.
The exception to that, and it probably proves the point, was Uldren. Uldren was really on point, I thought, through sort of his appearance in Forsaken, right? And it was because there was probably a really direct, like, this is what this character's going through. This is where his story arc ends up. This is it.
Yeah.
and it gave the voice. I can't remember the guy's name, but I mean, he did an incredible job. But I think that's probably
really good job.
Yeah.
Hey, so here's like a quick test, right? And I think this really exaggerates the point. If you go to someone like, tell me, what do you know about a core array? Tell me, who is a core array at a being? And then you compare that answer to saying who the drifter is.
She was when she was younger, when she was first resurrected by her ghost, she was a wayward warlock who was always out on the town, getting all the drunk. No, always out fighting things with a shotgun. Shaq speaks very highly of her because of her PvP acuity. She rose through the ranks of the Praxic Order very quickly, building a what?
Chugi said, Akora is my second wife. Don't tell Nat.
She rose through the ranks very, very quickly, and within what 100 years, she was already in line to be the next Warlock Vanguard or something like that.
So
and she has and all that.
I guess my point I'm trying to get you to think about is you do that with the core array and then you do that with the drifter, and I just feel like the drifter's character already has more development than a core array has probably
100%.
had.
I fully
since
agree.
the inception of Destiny, and that's probably how. And that's what you remind me of, Log, is like, yeah, you are right. We've had these vendors forever. They should be really fleshed out. They should be.
They're more foundational characters that set up the story rather than be the story. And I think like there's a place in the universe for that. Like not every character, like as much as I'd love it, fucking Lord Shaxx to be fleshed out, that would be incredible. But his character is so fucking one dimensional anyway that he probably doesn't need it. Where someone as complex as Akora, I think, could really benefit from it. Even Zavala, as much as he's not the flavor of the month at the moment, people don't really like him because of the events of Forsaken. But I think, like, you know, we're starting to see a little bit of that, like, but not in terms of voice acting. You know, it's all sort of done in the backstory.
But I mean, even compare the Drifter to Anna Bray, right? Like, there's a big fucking difference to the development of the Drifter and the development of Anna Bray in Warmind. That was the annual pass, right? That was the first one.
That was the second DLC.
Oh, that was Warmind. Sorry,
DLC,
that was Warmind.
Who did we have in? What about Ada? All right, Ada 1. Like, look at her.
Think about Ada.
Look at her development compared to the Drifter. So I think if we can reach Season of the Drifter as being a standard for vendor story development when we have drops, I think that would be cool.
I also think so. The only VA who I fully believe has no idea about the game and actually has said this a few times in reports, in interviews and so forth. No idea about the game. Really, really good VA. Shaxx's VA. Because he's just what's his doesn't name? Play Destiny, doesn't know what it's about and all that sort of thing. Just gets in there and just delivers the lines to the best of his ability. And that's really good. But I reckon the reason why people love the Drifter so much is because you remember back in D1 when we first started the podcast and people were talking about Dark Guardians and they were talking about the power of darkness and dredgens and this, that, and the other. The reason why people are drawn to the Drifter is because we have been playing the bearers of light that are protectors of the humanity for so long, is that they jump straight onto that darkness, that outlaw.
Well, it sort of fits into the overall story progression, right? The overall light versus darkness and what's happening with that. And I think he's got that greater thread going on as well. But I still think, you know, it's fine to have annual passes that are left of center, you know, that are, you know, like Warmind, it can still be entertaining. It can still be lots of fun. It doesn't have to contribute to the pyramid ships or the next collapse or a big invasion. But I still think you can like build those vendors up.
No, I mean even Black Armory in that sort of same vein, it didn't directly impact the story really whatsoever. Right? It was all sort of this aside story of who they are and what they do. And I hope that ultimately in the context of Destiny that has a purpose and a place. as much as like Rasputin being fucking set free on Mars and all of that sort of stuff and awoken, and like I fully foresee that being a very important event come, the pyramid shit's turning up on our doorstep, and we've got this fucking monster AI that may or may not be on our side. Who knows what's going on? I think there's a story set up there to be hit home, but I wouldn't like to see things just be asside stuff. That's like, I mean, even Scourge of the Past, you're kind of like, well, is any of that shit gonna matter at all? Was it just like a, hey, guess what? Let's go on vacation and fuck someone else up for a change?
It's also
maybe it was just that they didn't have the scope to be able to set this sort of stuff up with real serious basis in the Destiny universe going forward, because it was such short-term stuff.
Yeah, and the cadence might be like every second, DLC or season pass, you might just have that left of center one, that like the Black Armory where, it doesn't really move the overall plot forwards. It's a bit of a side plot, and that's fine. Like, it still builds the universe. But every second one, like the second one, then Season of the Drifter, you have these really fantastic characters that come in and like drive the plot forward.
Honestly, Matt, I think I foresee it that way, right? Like when you look at it that way, Black Armory was its own little thing. Now we've got Season of the Drifter, and it seems to be pretty involved in driving the overarching story of Destiny, the darkness, all that sort of shit. Characters that have been around forever in terms of Shin Malphur are being addressed. And then you look at what comes next with the Season of Opulence. Now I'm going to go out on a whim here and assume that it's got something to do with Callus, because opulence.
Yeah.
So then do we in that sort of content see the conclusion of the Leviathan story and the Callus arc that then frees us up to continue with whatever comes after, to look at whatever is being serviced right now. I think
exactly.
I think it's smart in that, like, it's sort of like, it's not always the same thing. We're not always chipping away at the same coalface. It gives us different characters to explore. I don't know. I mean, this has been an interesting conversation that we didn't plan on having whatsoever.
Yeah, I was in mid-sentence of giving you updates on Gambit Prime synths.
You know what? It's all good news on the Gambit front. We're just going to fucking skip it.
Yep.
I don't think we really need to do it. Look, if you're really worried, go and read the TWAB. No, I don't think anyone's coming here for fucking actual news anyway. And if you are, I question why you aren't listening to one of the other really, really good and professional Destiny podcasts, and you're here listening to us swear at each other and fucking carry on. So,
well, look. In 2 seconds, since you can trade for Glimmer at the Drifter. And they're changing some of the reckoning modifiers because some of them are too hard. There you go.
Good.
Yeah. Well,
good job, Matt.
when it comes to difficulty in this game, I'm very much in the park of it should be difficult. It should be difficult, and it should be so difficult that people either like. Destiny is a game that you play with people. And I know that that's not ideal for a lot of people who play solo, but Destiny is a game that you play with people. So if you want to get through the harder stuff, you've got to team up. And that's my take on it. It should be hard.
Where did that come from?
It should be difficult.
I don't know. The depths of...
When you're saying like they're adjusting it because it's too difficult.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, man. I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, all good.
No, you're fine. It's. I'm just like I want. If you're gonna do solo shit, I mean, tough titties. As far as I'm concerned, it should be hard. It should be difficult. The game should be difficult at the end game pinnacle stuff. You shouldn't have people like Glad and Carolina Gamer and all those sort of guys going through at tier 3 and clearing it no deaths first time. And it's the pinnacle end game activity.
I don't know. I don't think you can include those kind of freaks.
I think
evaluations.
Honestly, if we go into it, we'll get our fucking heads kicked in. And
I'm very, very muchly aware that their heads kicked in because
I watch Glad play, and I've admittedly over the last sort of 3 months maybe I've been watching him play more and more, and it's almost annoying to watch someone that is so comfortable and looks like they're putting so little effort into being so fucking good at the game. it is. It just makes it. Oh, I just want to like. I'm like, fuck. Like, why can't like? I mean, he's barely even moving his mouse. He's just like just sitting there, chilled out. And I'm like, man, I would be fucking peaking if I was even attempting this. I would be sweating.
Just remember that he's well, Matt has no excuse, but he's a lot younger than I am and a bit younger than you. And well, Matt, he's older than you. Get your fucking act together.
Age is no barrier. Age is no barrier.
Well, I mean, you say that, but Chook's 47. He's still useless at the game.
Chook's 74, mate.
Sorry,
right.
74.
All right, we are going to open up the chat really quickly before we wrap it up. If there's anything super pressing that you want to get off your chest or ask us about, do so now. But, dudes, I had an event through the week that I want to share with everyone.
Oh, great!
It's completely unrelated to Destiny because this is the shit that like I thought this was really dumb the first time we did this, but now I think it's fucking great to be able to just completely unload at the back end of the podcast on just off-topic garbage.
Yeah, tell me.
So I was awoken. Was it Monday or Tuesday? I'm not sure. It was super early in the morning. It was like fucking 4:30, and I heard this bloke yell out in the street, and he's like, "Oi, get the fuck back here!" I'm like, oh, fuck. And it kind of jolted me awake. And I'm like, oh, you know, like, what do I do? What do I do? And then I got up and I went and stood near the front door. My bedroom's right near the front door. And I heard it again. He's like, Tanya, get the fuck back here. And I'm like, oh, there's a fucking domestic going on out in the street. I'm going to have to, like, go out. And I don't know. I was pretty flustered. But I opened the fucking door and I turned the front light on. Here's this bloke in high vis, probably getting ready to go to work for a 6 o'clock start up the mines or some shit, chasing a German shepherd up the street. And I turned the light on and opened the door, and he's turned and looked at me, and he's looked at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And at that point, I realised that I had no clothes on.
You completely stargazed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Naked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that I exposed myself to a tradesperson at fucking 4:30 in the morning.
You thought it was a domestic.
I thought it was domestic, but I was like half asleep, fucking like what's going on? And yeah, I got up and I opened the door with literally no fucking clothes on. That's how good I am at life.
Nailed it.
Who names a German Shepherd Tanya?
Oh no, that was I went to work and I was talking to my offsider at work, and that was his. He's like, "Are you serious? What kind of fucking idiot names a dog Tanya?" I'm like, I don't know, but it had me fucked. Tanya. It was a fucking big dog too, and it was not playing. It was fucking off. He was jogging along after it. I've never seen the bloke before. I'll probably never see him again. He could have been from half a fucking suburb away, chasing his bloody dog around.
Oh, that's funny. Do you have any stories you want to share from this week, Sloth?
No, not particularly.
Like, what about I was playing squad? I mean, I know it's not still in the video game, but that was pretty fun.
So Matt and I every now and again been and play some military sim type of things like Escape from Tarkov and Insurgency Sandstorm. And he goes, I reckon you really like squad. Sloth? I'm like, yeah.
It only took me how many years to convince you to play that freaking game?
Yeah, right. and we jumped in. We had this the first mission, the first scenario we jumped into. We had this squad leader, and very, very good. Sir Vengeance, he was very, very good. He was talking to everyone. He was giving people orders and that sort of thing. And I have this issue at the moment. My computers are being fucking an absolute pain in the ass. But I kept crashing, and I ended up in another squad. And I ended up in another. I hear Matt going, "Oh, this guy's really fucking good." And I jumped into my squad, and all I hear is the squad leader going,
"Yeah, I had it the next game." And like the micromanagement was like, for those who don't know, squad is, imagine Battlefield sized maps mixed with the military sim, mixed with you need to listen to your commander, but your squad lead pretty much. Otherwise, you're never going to get through it. And this guy, you can open the map and see where your squad is, and he's like, "What are you fucking doing crawling? Get up and run!" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm surrounded by enemies. Just give me a moment to clear this area." And I can see like a rally point. I want to clear that first. You fucking pussy! I'm like, this is not how you. This is not leadership. This is not how to be a good leader.
Well, it is leadership. It's just fucking garbage leadership.
Honestly, it is one of those games where this is how important your squad leader is. Like, if they are bad, you have a bad time. And it's actually one of the reasons I stopped playing is because I just had a number of matches where people were in squad lead that shouldn't be there, and it becomes really unenjoyable. But when you do have a good squad lead and there's freaking RPGs flying overhead and you're holding down bases and like, you know, there's bullets pinging everywhere and you're actually like on the enemy, because there's also a game where you don't see death cams, you just fall over and you'll be like,
you'll just
"Hey, Sloth, you fell over." Do you know where you go through from? Nope. Oh, I'm dead now too.
We're on this map. We're on this map, and I like peeked my head over to like a stairs inside of a building, and there was like a tow missile launcher sitting on top, and I was like, peeked my head up, immediately got my head taken. Matt runs over and he goes, "Oh, I'll get you up. I'll get you up." So I got my up, healed myself, bandaged myself up, and he goes, "Is there a tow up there? There's an MRAP over there, like an armored vehicle. There's an MRAP over there. I'll jump on the tow." And I go, "You won't do it. You're scared." And he goes, "Make sure you're recording." So I hit the shadow play on my stream deck, and he pokes his head up, takes a few rounds near him. He goes, "No, fuck that, no."
No, I thought you were gonna say Sloth was down this roof, right? And I was like, "I'll smoke it."
Oh,
and in my head, this is what I did. In real life, you just like threw the smoke
like,
all the way over the roof and did not work. I was like, "All right, you're proper dead now." I can't.
When you're bleeding out, you can kind of see some things, like you can see for a little bit. And I said, "Yeah, I'll get you up, Sloth. I'll get you up." And he said to the squad leader, "Yeah, I'll get you up. Stay there." And I hear the canister crack, and he's thrown it. I see the red smoke go on the other side of the building, and he goes, "Fuck."
Oops. I like how we just hijacked this into more video game talk and different games.
That's fine. It's better than me exposing myself to men in the street. It's fucking way.
Dude, that was a funny story. I don't have any funny stories.
Honestly, like,
all right, Slothy,
I really do enjoy playing Mill Sims.
Do you want to start part 1 of 7?
Yeah, I thought we got 7.
You know what? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, gladly. I'm going to play some angry music, and you can do an outro over that. What do you reckon?
All
right, ready? Spaghetti, go.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for hanging out. Live chat. Thank you to Eds for gifting 10 subs, and to the people who have followed and subscribed today. Thank you very much for your continued support and your continued
patronage.
It's really, really cool. Thank you very much. To our audio-only listeners, thank you very much. If you have any questions, queries, doubtful points, please just let us know on Twitter at DDU_podcast, at Mylan Games, at Loghouse, at Real-Time Sloth. And to our YouTube guys, thank you very much. Again, if you have any questions, queries, doubtful posts, doubtful points, let us know on Twitter, or let us know in the comments below. How often do you play Destiny, and do you get up to
a light level,
full power level in a season? Please let us know. Please consider hitting that like button and hitting the subscribe button as well. We upload once a week on Saturdays, so you may not have to hit the bell if you don't want to, but if you do, go for it. And happy birthday to Chook, because he's he's an old drunk, but he's a drunk, and we love him.
He's our drunk.
He's our drunk.
Oh god, he just gifted 10 subs as well.
Thank you for the 10 subs, Shooky.
I'll tell you what, you want to be in this chat, because we don't even have that many people in there. 100% are going to be subscribed soon.
So to the people who are gifting subs and all that sort of thing, that goes directly to paying the costs of the cast and uploading it onto Podbean and all that sort of thing. If you have any questions about where the money is going, please direct them at.
And
Not Bad
every
Up Here.
second week, we buy a meat pie with tomatoes.
Yeah, we buy a 4 and 20.
And if there's spare, we'll buy a long neck as well.
You know what? I'm going to use every cent of this to buy maybe each of us one beer at PAX.
Fantastic.
All right,
And,
Sloth, it's time for outro number 2 of fucking 15. I'm going to play some
no,
sad
I
music
was-
this time.
No, I was actually going to. I'm not sure if I spoke about this at the start, but if you after the terrorist attack in Christchurch, where 49 people lost their lives to a white supremacist gunman from Australia, please, if you have any friends in New Zealand, reach out to them. Reach out to them. They'll probably really need your help at the moment. And salam, I guess, which is more or less peace, brother.
Yeah.
So we'll keep a close eye, and if I personally can do anything to help anything over there, I'll probably try at my best to do it. So again, thank you.
Go on. All right.
That was the most appropriate sad music we've ever played on this podcast. That was fucking scary. All right. Well, we're going to find someone to host. But until next week, we've been the DDU podcast. Matt, say something disgusting.
The law will find you. All you have to do is side with the drifter. So yeah.
Right.
Fuck.